Hi there, I'm Candace, and this is your GamesNosh Appetizer, where I talk to you about MMOs and some related news in 5 minutes or less. World of Warcraft released patch 6.0 this past week. It's the pre-expansion event for Warlords of Draenor. One notable difference are the new character models. Every race except Blood Elves, Worgen, Goblins, and Pandaren have received new and updated character models and casting animations. Blood Elves should be coming soon. Worgen and Goblin aren't a priority according to Blizzard since they are newer playable races. It is worth noting that the Worgen do have updated models in their human form. Also in the patch is the new event for the invasion of the Iron Horde. Players at level 90 can participate in a quest chain where they get a preview of what combat in Warlords of Draenor might look like. There are some slight changes to how gear will work in Warlords of Draenor. The new quest chain offers you items that are tuned for the Warlords of Draenor expansion. Yes, players who do not yet own the expansion can participate in the event. What else has changed? Your class has gone through some big changes. Many players will find their classes missing certain spells and items. This isn't a bad thing in my opinion. Blizzard has not dumbed down the game this time. They've actually just taken away abilities that are useless and merged some abilities and talents. This means you'll want to take a minute and get reacquainted with your class. Forums and various websites have some walkthroughs of what has changed and what's changed in your rotation. Dungeons are another change due to the item squish. What's an item squish? The overinflated 100,000 health has been drastically cut down. Gear and abilities don't pull in the huge six-figure numbers anymore, and dungeons pose more of a challenge. Even lower-level dungeons will require groups to work together and understand the boss fights. I personally had to walk a tank through the Hadronox fight in Azul Narub. It's a nice feeling to know that things have gone back to a little bit more of a challenge. There is no more plowing through dungeons for XP and loot at low levels. Never fear, high-level players, you can still solo old world raids with no problem. You receive a buff when you step into those raids that allow you to 2 or even 3-man the heroic version of the old raids. Missing some mounts? Now is definitely the time to get them. In my opinion, Blizzard did a really good job with changes to dungeons and itemization. Leveling up a new character can be a real bore because dungeons just aren't challenging. This change has allowed even low-level players to experience a taste of high-level dungeons and group mechanics. I'm begging you to keep things this way, Blizzard. You can find out all about patch 6.0 and Warlords of Draenor at worldofwarcraft.com. If you're a Rift player, the new expansion Nightmare Tide is releasing this month. The expansion content is free to play, but Treon has collector's editions available. This will give Rift players the ability to have new cosmetic items, mounts, pets, and extra credits to use in-game. This past week, Rift gave us a preview of some new dungeons and new zones in the Nightmare Tide expansion. We also learned a little more about the new Masteries system. Masteries will be implemented with the release of Nightmare Tide and available to any character level 60 or above. Masteries allow Ascended to have even more choices when building their character through Rift's robust classes. Don't let the class system in Rift scare you. It may be a lot of choices, but Treon has done really well at creating guides for new players and pre-made roles to help you better understand what you're doing. By the time you reach the level to choose your Masteries, you'll have it figured out. Rift also told us a little more about the minions system and how it's going to work. The basis is that some of the beings in Talara love you so much they want to do stuff for you. Minions are a unique collection shared across the characters on your own shard only. You can send minions out on adventures where they can bring you back loot, dimension items, crafting materials, or even a little rep boost. Each minion can be paired with different attributes and difficulty level. To find out more about Nightmare Tide, visit riftgame.com. Star Trek Online has announced their new expansion, Delta Rising. It is set 32 years after the events of the TV show Star Trek Voyager. Delta Rising is an expansion that will raise the level cap to level 60, and you can acquire new ships, gear, and officers. To find out more about Delta Rising, go check out StarTrekOnline.com. I'm Candace, and that does it for this week's GamesNosh Appetizer, MMO news, and anything else I want to talk about in 5 minutes or less. I'll see you next week.